You can't come to this place without feeling the impact of what the slaves went through.
It's really difficult to describe the emotions I feel in this place. This is the very last place that the slaves, the Angolan slaves, were brought to before they were ironically blessed by the church to be then transported onto the ships that were just literally down here in the bay, and then taken across the Atlantic into the Americas and to Europe, but specifically to Brazil.
Aqui no Museu da Escravidão, em Angola, nossos corações foram quebrantados. A gente não pode deixar de imaginar milhões de negros sendo embarcados aqui nos portos à frente, homens, mulheres, crianças. Milhões morreram só na viagem e foram trabalhar em nosso país.
For all of us, it's been really emotional, just actually being physically where they were. This place was built in the 1800s. There's pictures inside of how they were lined up, lying down, side by side, squashed together in chains, so that they could get more slaves on each ship. And I think for me it's just that impression of not only of the cruelty of it, but also the consequences of it, and the legacy that continues today for them, not only here but because they lost hundreds, millions of men and women and also children. I mean, that's what really impacted me. They would go into the provinces and actually ship the children over. And the tribes were sold to the traders, to the European traders, by the head of the tribes, who would receive produce from Europe on ships that came into the ports with drink and mirrors and jewellery. And in exchange, the head of the tribes would give gold and ivory from the elephants, the teeth from the elephants, and the slaves. And I'm sure they didn't even realise then what they were selling or trading their own people into.
Not only being sold by their own people into slavery, but they're going into an unknown situation. You cannot be here without sensing that at this very point we are yards from the beach and from the sea where they left this country.
And many of them died. I think 2 million died during the 400 years of the slave trade.
And those that did make it were put in chains and subject to the most horrendous life thereafterwards.
Então me batiam em frente dos outros escravos para eles poderem ver como exemplo para não voltarem a fazer a coisa que o outro fez.
Once the slaves got over to Salvador, for example, in Brazil, the boss, the leader of the plantation, for example, he would choose a leader of that particular group amongst the African slaves, and if any of them did anything wrong, and also to humiliate them, they would strip them and beat them in front of the other slaves, as an example. But what's interesting is that it was actually done by one of their own, by the Africans. This weight here was put on, when they disobeyed, it was put on top of their heads, and then their hands were tied at the top. So not only did they have the weight, really heavy weight, but they also had their arms tied to it. So it's very significant for us all to be here, and we've had a time of prayer and repentance, and to really, pray and ask God for His plan of redemption, of salvation and restoration to be fulfilled, especially for the children. We'll be praying for this generation.
Aqui neste lugar nós nos arrependemos, clamamos, intercedemos a Deus em favor desta nação, porque nós cremos que Deus tem um plano de redenção para este povo. E nós estamos aqui dizendo ao Senhor, se fomos parte antigamente numa história negra, nós queremos ser parte na história de redenção, de reconstrução e de bênção para esta nação. Que Deus abençoe Angola, é nossa oração neste lugar. E queremos aqui, no início de tudo, na fonte da história, nós queremos ver uma nova história sendo escrita.